March 8, 2014, 1:19 in the morning. A Boeing 777 transmits the last words ever recorded from its cockpit. Good night, MH370. On board, 239 people. Destination, Beijing. Scheduled flight time, 6 hours. 2 minutes later, 1:21, someone in that cockpit manually cuts the transponder. And the plane disappears. No explosion. No distress signal. No radio call. It is still flying, but nobody knows where it is going anymore. What follows is 12 years of investigation, $200 million spent, 26 countries mobilized, and still no answer. Subscribe to Beneath History, hit the bell, and tell us in the comments, do you think the plane has ever been found? We release a new video every week on the mysteries that marked history. At 1:07, the ACARS system, which automatically transmits the plane's technical data, sends a routine message. Altitude confirmed. Fuel nominal. Everything is fine. That will be its last message. Someone cut it manually shortly after. After 1:21, Malaysian military radars, which don't need the transponder, see something incredible. The plane turns around. A right turn, then a long left turn, and it heads back in the opposite direction. For 1 hour, a Boeing 777 crosses the Malaysian peninsula at 10,000 meters altitude in the wrong direction. The military sees everything. Nobody intervenes. At 2:22, even the military radars lose it. The plane is officially untraceable. Meanwhile in London, an engineer at Inmarsat notices something strange on his screens. The satellites continue exchanging automatic pings with MH370 every hour, well after its official disappearance. The last ping is recorded at 8:19 in the morning. That is 7 hours after the plane officially ceased to exist. The plane flew for 7 more hours, somewhere above the Indian Ocean. In Beijing, 153 Chinese families arrive at the airport to welcome their loved ones. The screens display, flight delayed. Nobody tells them anything. It takes until 5:30 in the morning, more than 4 hours after the disappearance, for search operations to be officially activated. 17 days later, the Malaysian Prime Minister announces live. The plane went down in the Indian Ocean. There are no survivors. In the briefing room at the Lido Hotel in Beijing, heartbreaking screams. Men break chairs. Women faint. Many refuse to accept it. They stay at the hotel for weeks, hoping for new information, hoping it is not over. On May 1, 2014, Malaysia Airlines closes the Assistance Center. No more briefings. No more support. For these families, it is confirmation that everyone has abandoned them. If this story moves you, a like helps the channel enormously, and it takes 2 seconds. And tell us in the comments, do you think the truth will ever be known? We respond to every comment. On July 29, 2015, a municipal worker finds a piece of white metal on a beach in Saint Andre, on the island of Réunion. It is a flaperon, a wing flap from a Boeing 777, with its serial number, the one from MH370. 517 days after the disappearance. It is the first confirmed physical fragment. In total, 33 pieces of debris will be found on the coast of Africa. They prove the plane did crash in the Indian Ocean, but they don't say exactly where. After the disappearance, the FBI analyzes the personal flight simulator of Captain Zahari Shah. 5 flight paths have been deleted a few weeks before the flight. One of them corresponds almost perfectly to the presumed trajectory of MH370, a U-turn over the South China Sea, a crossing of the Malaysian peninsula, then a heading due south over the Indian Ocean until fuel exhaustion. A troubling coincidence that the FBI still refuses to explain publicly. A group of French volunteer experts, pilots, aeronautical engineers, satellite specialists, spent years reworking all the data. Their group is called Captio. Their conclusion: the plane did not go to get lost in the middle of the ocean. Someone diverted it with a precise destination in mind. According to them, MH370 flew along Indonesia at low altitude to avoid radars and was heading for Christmas Island, an isolated Australian island with a landing strip, the ideal place for a hostage-taking. But at low altitude, fuel consumption is much higher. The plane ran out of fuel approximately 180 kilometers from its target. The last two satellite pings recorded correspond exactly to the electronic signature of an in-flight fuel exhaustion. Capcio presented this theory before the Royal Aeronautical Society in London. The experts present were impressed. No government has launched a search in that area. In 2025, the company Ocean Infinity signed an agreement with Malaysia to resume the search, a particular contract. If the wreck is found, they receive $70 million. If not, nothing. In March 2026, after 28 days of searching, they announced finding nothing. The search is now suspended. We live in a world where a lost iPhone at an airport is found in 10 minutes, where a crime 30 years old is solved with a single strand of hair. And yet, a 300-ton plane with 239 people on board disappeared 12 years ago. We still don't know why MH370 turned around that night, or exactly where it rests. In Perth, Danica still keeps her husband Paul's wedding ring and watch. He had placed them in her hand before leaving. Their two sons will grow up without him, without a grave, without an answer. Somewhere at the bottom of the Indian Ocean, 239 lives are waiting to be found. If this video marked you, share it. These families deserve to have their story told. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which theory you find most credible. We respond to every comment within 24 hours. See you next week on Beneath History.